Look who we're with. Look who's here. Look who's in the UK. We don't need to introduce this guy, do we?
Don't need to. We don't need to.
You all know who he is.
What's up, guys? Jon Jones. Thanks for having me on you guys' show.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Good to see you.
Pleasure.
Listen, me and Dan have just been having a conversation for our program about you and what the future holds for Bones Jones. We guessed that maybe 2 more at light heavyweight before you start playing with the heavyweight boys. What's your thoughts?
I'm thinking at least 3 more.
Okay.
The UFC's been kind of whispering whispering after Thiago Santos, Luke Rockhold, possibly. And then I would imagine Johnny Walker is going to be in that mix as well. So I think I got 3 really tough fights ahead of me before moving up to the light heavyweight division.
Heavyweight, man. That's where I'm.
I won't moving up to the heavyweight division. I'm sorry, light heavyweight.
You're a lot bigger
It's
now,
early.
though. You're a lot bigger now than
Yeah,
you used to be, right?
yeah. I walk around 240, 235 now.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, I feel good. I feel like a full light heavyweight, and
Yeah.
it's an exciting time.
So has training camp changed over the years? Have you changed the way you approach things now?
Yeah, training camp has changed a lot. I just feel like they're just a lot more mature than they used to be. I feel like my team is we're seasoned vets. You know, we kind of know how we like to do things, what makes us at our best, and I feel like we're doing all the right things. You know, to just perform at our absolute maximum.
Yeah. So how do you approach someone like Santos?
Like Thiago Santos, really just be who we are. Be who we are. You know, Thiago's a very game opponent. You know, aggressive guy, strong guy. I'm sure he's extremely hungry, but I know that I'm a tall feat. I'm a tall mountain to climb, and I just have to just be who I am. Don't change anything, really.
Is there a danger in you just clearing out this division?
I think
Why is that
that's
a danger? Why is that a danger?
that's not a danger for me. Danger for everybody else. No, there's not a danger of me clearing out the division because there's always going to be the option to go up to the heavyweight division. There's a lot of big fights that I know people are going to want to see there. So, yeah.
You say that with a twinkle in your eye.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. You know, I'm maturing, I'm getting older, I'm figuring out my body and figuring out how to train and a lot of the heavyweights, a lot of these guys are just older anyways. So I feel like when I do go up to the heavyweight division, I'll be a breath of fresh air, you know, with my versatility. And yeah, I think I'm going to throw some fits to those guys.
Regarding opponents that you've faced throughout your career, it seems to me as a fan of yours that you watch them and what they do, and then you decide to beat them at their game.
Yeah.
You obviously get a kick out of that.
Yeah, I don't really do it consciously. I feel like I focus on the ways I could lose a fight so much that, you know, I embrace my opponent's strengths, and I adapt kind of why he do the things he does, and I end up doing it to him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you kind of learn their style from them as you're researching them.
Exactly. And
It's kind of scary, like
absorbs
absorb
their
their
power.
soul.
yeah.
Something Mortal Kombat about
Yeah,
that,
take
right?
their skills
There
with
we
them.
go,
Yeah, take it with you. Yeah. And that's the most honest answer I could give to why it seems like I beat people at what they're best at. It's just I spend so much time on their strengths that I adapt them for sure.
How do you look back at the last 2 fights in particular?
What's your question? I'm sorry.
Regarding your last 2 fights in the UFC, with Gus and obviously with Smith,
Right.
you look like you're having a whale of a time in there. You look
Yeah, I
like
was
you're
having a lot of fun.
maybe a little bit too much fun. You know what I mean?
I was really relaxed leading up to the
Yeah.
fight week. Was what was really concerning me. I was like, especially in the Gustafsson fight, I had been out for a year, and Gustafsson had beat me up so bad the first time we fought. I think it would be more natural to be extremely nervous going into that fight week, being out for a year against your toughest opponent, and I was at peace. I was just enjoying the fight week. Me and my team, we were laughing, having fun, getting out, seeing sights, and I almost felt like I wasn't ready because I was so ready for that fight, and went out there against Gus, and the second fight didn't look anything like the first fight. Barely was touched. And then the same thing with Anthony Smith. Just going out there with a greater sense of peace and confidence, and it just goes to show where we're at as a martial artist and on our maturity level in our career. And it's exciting because I'm fighting Thiago Santos next, who I believe could be even a higher step up in competition than Smith and Gustafsson. And now is the perfect time to fight the scarier guys. Like when you're really finding your zone, you're active, you're confident, you're uninjured. It's like now is the time to fight the Thiagos and the Lukes and the Johnny Walkers of the world. Yeah.
So what skills are you absorbing from Santos then?
Um,
Are you going to get a tattoo? Tell me you're going to get the tattoo.
No,
Yeah, you
I
have
have
to.
to get a big old freaking Brock Lesnar on my chest. No, I think I'm reawakening my kicking and checking. You know, I think Thiago's going to kick a lot more than anybody I've fought in a very long time. I think a lot of people have had the strategy of kicking my skinny legs and trying to break me down that way. And I think he'll be the first person to try to implement it.
Right.
So I've really just reawakened my kicking, kick counters, checking kicks, catching kicks, and coming up with appropriate ways to react when you see someone getting ready to kick at you. He's also really good at like capoeira style kicks and like spinning back kicks and stuff like that. So just really reawakening reactions to what happens when those kicks are coming at you. And that's the main changes that we've had in this camp. Outside of that, everything else is exactly the same. And I believe I'll finish the fight by submission.
By submission.
You seem to be in a really good place. Speaking to you now,
Yeah.
like everything that's been happening over the last 2 years, it just must be nice just to be
Yeah.
fighting, just to be out there doing your thing.
It feels good to just get respect back. You know, it's a shitty feeling, just being looked at as a failure. You know, and so now being back on the right track, you know, getting endorsements back and support back and fighting again and having the belt back and having my family and my team and fans be extremely proud of me. It's just a good feeling. I get emotional just thinking about
Well,
it.
I was going to say, how did it affect you, those couple of years, emotionally, psychologically,
it was a
your
lot.
approach to fighting, everything?
It was a lot. I think ultimately it just made me appreciate what it is to be a UFC mixed martial arts athlete. It's really a special thing, and you don't realize it until it's taken away. You don't realize it until you're facing a 4-year suspension. You know, that's when you realize what you really have. So I'm grateful for the trials because it's helped in my development, and I think it's ultimately prolonged my career in ways and it's brought out even more. You know, I have more to prove to myself and to the world. And
That's dangerous for everybody, though, isn't it?
It's gonna be cool trying to prove it too.
Well, exactly that. How much further is there than Jon Jones?
There's a lot more. There's a lot. There's a lot more to come, man. There's a lot more big fights to come. There's a lot of dangerous guys out there. There's always gonna be the next great challenger, and I'm excited for it.
Are you disappointed that Lesnar retired?
He would have been a tall order.
Yeah.
If that fight would have happened, it would have been a tall order. It would have been a big night for combat sports. Myself and Lesnar, or DC and Lesnar. Yeah, it is a disappointment. It is. But Brock's done a lot in combat, as an entertainer, and he deserves to rest easy however he likes. You know? He's been entertaining us since like middle school with the wrestling stuff. So.
Yeah. And what about the DC fight? I've got to ask. DC against Stipe. Do you think that's going to go any different? And do you have a preference of who you would want to fight?
I think Stipe will put up a better fight, but I do think DC will win again. DC is an extraordinary athlete. His flexibility and his speed for the way he's built doesn't really make sense. Even his endurance for the way he's built. He's a special athlete. I don't think most guys will beat DC. I think the way you beat DC is just to catch him with like a knockout shot, which Stipe has the power to do. Question is, can he land it? I think DC's smart, and he's going to use his wrestling and wit to find a way to win again, and then he'll retire.
Yeah.
Or fight at heavyweight again. He's definitely never coming back to light heavyweight.
Yeah, you think, no?
He says it, but there's no way he's coming back to light heavyweight. To commit your life to lose that type of weight and to come up short again would be so devastating. It would take an incredible amount of courage to attempt it, and to come up short would just be so devastating. I doubt he'd put himself through that for the third time.
More devastating than you going up to heavyweight and taking his belt there?
Not as devastating as that, no. No, but me coming up short.
Yeah.
I'm a realist, Daniel Cormier is a special athlete, and everyone can be beat. And I think my greatest chance of losing would be to a guy like Daniel Cormier, with giving him a power and strength advantage over me. It just doesn't make sense. Right now I make light heavyweight very easily, and it just would make no sense to fight a guy who I think technically on your level, and to give him a size advantage. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm sure my fans don't like to hear me talk like that, but that's just me being a realist.
Yeah.
And being respectful to Daniel's abilities.
Very cool.
Are you ruling out heavyweight, period?
Oh, no, not against, I mean,
Alright,
a lot of people consider him the greatest ever. So to fight the greatest and give him a size advantage over you is just like, I'll fight heavyweights, just not someone as smart as DC at heavyweight.
That's a lot of respect shown. That's
Yeah,
nice to hear.
I'm showing him
You know,
respect.
I'm sure DC would love to hear that.
Yeah, I'm sure he likes that. I'll give that to you. I believe I'll get him at heavyweight, but I think his best chance is me fighting him at heavyweight. So I don't want to I'll keep the odds in my favor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
Great to see you.
Good to see you
Great
too.
to see you, man.
Cheers, John.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you
to
so
see
much.
you.
Take
Thanks
care.
for having me on the show.
You're welcome.